This JTV News Update is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Digicel BVI, Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park, Simply Secure, Gumptions Land and Sea Tours, Nagico Insurances, and Envy Styles, Nail Salon, Spa, and Barbershop.
Let me tell you a secret. When you came to this world, you were already in love, made from love, and born to love. So when you break code, you tell the God within and this great universe that you have forgotten who you are, a star who came to this world already in love, made from love, and born to love. And every time you choose love, you choose yourself. So choose love every time.
Stop.
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 Think
Before you act.
before you act.
Think before you act.
It's been a baptism of fire, I think, coming here.
So said Commissioner of Police Mark Collins in an address to the family of the Rotary Club of Tortola yesterday, July 8, 2021, as he shared significant strides and some hurdles.
One of the things that was abundantly clear to me on arriving was this annoyance of scooter riders, and I would call it lawlessness of riding without helmets and being unlicensed, being uninsured, and things like that. And for me, the starting point of any model of policing is to get the basics right. And if we allow that to go unchecked, then clearly things spiral out of control. It's like the broken window syndrome, really. If it's left unattended, it's left to be fixed, then it just snowballs, and you get to be dealing with bigger issues if you don't tackle the ones that you can at the outset. So one of the first things I did was set up a roads policing unit task force made up of about 4 officers, and they are continuing to do that work. We are still seeing people without crash helmets, I know that, but we on a daily basis are out there stopping vehicles. We discussed previously about the tinted windows. We discussed about the noise from exhausts and things. We've got the kit and equipment now. We've started to report people for the tinted windows and for noise abatement offences. And I've sent out a message loud and clear, get legal, get safe, because it is really important. And we are starting, I think, to see less noise pollution on the roads. There's still more work to be done, I get that. My top priority, however, must be the security of the islands. And you'll know as well as I do that we've recovered over 3 tons of cocaine that was due to come in or was already on the islands since September of last year. Couple that with the 8 murders that we've had, and it's been a pretty testing time. And you'll all be aware, I mentioned previously the senseless and callous killing of Catherine Pickering, a business person. Her daughter was coming back from the garage, and also you'll be aware of the prison murder that we had a couple of weeks ago. These are live investigations, and as part of National Security Council, we recommended an immediate review of the prison and also a longer term review of what's going on there, because clearly things aren't right. And just to give you a flavour, some of the things I'm thinking about are, when we've got life-serving prisoners, do they need to be held on the island? Can we not move them to other islands, other jurisdictions, and have a sort of a reciprocal arrangement? So those are the things we're going to start exploring. And also trial by jury. Any of you that heard me speak in the COI, I'm really concerned about trial by jury here, and the limitations of that jury process and selection process. And again, I think we need to look at a better way, potentially a two-judge sitting for some complex investigations such as financial crime and fraud. But that's going to be part of the COI recommendations. We've got 67 vacancies in the force at the moment. I am pleased to say that we've got 19 new recruits starting at the end of the month. And actually this week, I've got three staff coming from the UK on secondments here, and 2 Jamaican officers coming as transferees into the organisation as well as another analyst post. So we are starting to turn the tide a little bit there and get some more support that is greatly needed. You know, if I was back in the UK as a chief constable, as I was, with 8 murders on the go, 8 murders being investigated, I would probably have over 100 staff dedicated to working on those murder investigations. Here, I've probably got 10 or 12. But I want you to be reassured that since coming here, I've personally reviewed every single one of the outstanding murders that we've got since last September, and I'm confident a number of those will be brought to fruition soon, with charges being laid. We've already had a number of them, 3 or 4 are detected already, and there'll be more to come. And one of the guys that I've got coming out from the UK is a very experienced senior investigating officer, and I've also from my own RVIPF staff, I've put a post in place this week of a cold case review officer, and that cold case review officer will work with the DPP's office, with the senior investigating officer, and we will start to reopen some of the outstanding cases that we've got in the RVIPF, because I'm very confident that some of those cases that are with us at the moment are detectable as well. So that's a really important step forward as we start to, I think, give greater confidence and satisfaction to our communities that we're looking at some of these cold cases as well.
Touching on COVID-19 related matters, Collins spoke on staff population vaccination and more.
I've got 26 officers isolating at the moment, and an officer and a member of police staff that have tested positive. And we are reviewing that on a daily basis. But I am confident that we are able to continue to answer 911 calls and 311 calls. And actually, for me, it's team RVIPF. We need to look at some of our officers and specialist posts to make sure that we're out there being able to be visible and answer the calls, as I've said. But also there's an acceptance and a need for us to enforce the curfew situation as well. So we need to be out there making sure that we're holding people to account and making sure that they're observing the curfew, because it's in place for a reason, of course, and visiting licensed premises and working with colleagues and other organisations as we ensure that the COVID regulations and restrictions are being monitored. You know, we didn't measure the take-up for whatever reason before I got here, that we didn't measure the take-up. But what I can tell you is I've done a couple of drives within the organisation. We had Professor Ian Cummings that came out to the Virgin Islands a couple of weeks ago, presenting at Virgin Gorda, presenting at Rotown Police Station, Anegada, as well. And we had a take-up then of about 15, 20 extra officers and staff that had the vaccines. We were able to, through Dr. George's office, get an additional 10 vaccinated only last week. And I think this current outbreak has forced a number further to come forward and seek the vaccination. You know, I'm confident that I've done as much as I possibly can to encourage officers. I've done a video message to the force. I've sent a number of messages out internally. We've had officers speaking that have had the vaccination to try and deal with some of the conspiracy theories and some of the other theories that are going around. If you were to put me on the spot, I would probably say probably just over a third of the force are fully vaccinated, and some are awaiting their second dose. And we're monitoring the 26 that we've got isolating, so we make sure that the day they go into isolation, we're monitoring for the period and getting them back to work as quickly as we possibly can. You know, my message is very clear. This is an ongoing situation. We've got to need to learn to live with it. There'll be different variants after variants on this. You know, I can only urge my officers and staff to take up the vaccine. But we will be embarking, as Cabinet have said, on the 2-week frontline testing of all frontline officers and staff. So as soon as we get the green light for that, we'll be embarking upon that as well.
Now, looking deeper at the inward pointing fingers.
You know I've got bad apples in the organisation. You know that as well as I do. Members of the public will stop me in the street concerned about some of the stuff that's ongoing, concerned about being not willing to speak to officers. That's why I put a personal number out there. I've had a number of calls from people, which has been really interesting. I've visited and met with a number of people, and I've been able to help them, I think, getting them the level of service that they need. And I'll continue to do that as well. But more importantly, what I need to continue to do over the next 3 years in my tenure is to make sure I've got a police service that actually can be trusted, can be, ooze confidence to the community and satisfaction to the community, and that I'm able to weed out some of the bad apples that we've got. I was put on the spot a little bit in the COI around numbers. Well, I've got 9 officers suspended at the moment. I will be suspending more, no doubt, over the next few weeks. And I have set out my stall very clearly in relation to my expectations about what standards and what it means to be an ethical officer and have a transparent and open police service. I've made a number of changes in personnel and staff since I've been here. I've moved a number of staff around for reasons of being fair again and open and making sure that everyone has the opportunity. Every specialised post now in the organisation will be advertised, and there'll be again a fair and transparent process to the appointments there. And I've just presided over the final inspector and sergeant promotion processes. There are some flaws with it. We need to learn the lessons from that. But I will be taking personal responsibility for those promotion processes next week. I am concerned that I've got a large number of police officers that do private security work or indeed have their own security companies. Certainly that would be a big no-no in the UK, and you wouldn't be able to do it because there's a conflict there. However, I do know here that it is sometimes necessary and almost accepted that people will have secondary employment because of low income, because of no pay rises for the last few years, and the cost of living. So I accept that. But there needs to be a line there in terms of what is compatible and what is not. And that's going to be a job that I'm going to have to manage over the next few years. I did mention that in the COI, and I did mention about having a complete review of professional standards because it is going to cause us some problems, and it is causing me some problems already.
But on the other hand,
the funding is very, very difficult. I've got some fantastic detectives here that are showing real brilliance in what they're doing. They're very innovative, and I'm struggling to get them on some of the courses they need to go on in terms of senior investigating officer courses that will give them the skills to be even better than what they are. So that's a big issue for us. Having said that, we have been able to secure funding for the Marine unit. We've been able to secure funding for our armed response teams. And as I speak, we've got colleagues from the UK here carrying out training, marine training with the Marine unit, and also over on the range providing firearms training for the officers there as well. We've just secured some more funding for financial investigation teams to have some more training there. And as I've said, we've got 19 new recruits starting in September. And of course, they're going to go through their initial training with my officers and trainers here. But I've got more to do, and I'm certainly going to start pushing the boat a little bit and a bit farther and harder in relation to the training that we need and actually filling those 67 vacancies, because we're actually fighting with one hand behind our back. And it's not fair on the local officers here that when I put an advert out, and I do put adverts out and they're going to go out internationally and nationally. Some of the issues are the people are good here. They just haven't got the courses and the qualifications to do the jobs, and that can't be right.
In addition to all of this, Commissioner Collins spoke of investing heavily in the Marine unit to boost the security of the territory, especially at Yes Van Dyke and the Virgin Gorda. He noted, however, that the Marine security is better than before. He also noted that since taking office, he has had no case of human smuggling to date. With this JTV News Update, Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Stop.
Stop. Stop. Think.
Think
Before you act.
before you act.
Think before you act.
Our reliance on digital systems has opened new vulnerabilities to sophisticated cyber attacks. Simply Secure's security management solution helps overcome these challenges. Our service includes 24/7, 360-degree protection for all computers and servers with automatic restoration, security audits, and penetration testing. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Contact us at info@simplysecuregroup.com.